Good afternoon. Welcome to CityCast. This is Sriporna Roy.
This is Prantika Ghosh.
And here are the headlines for today.
The ban on hijab in Karnataka's educational institution continues as the High Court rules in favor of having a uniform. Here's a story from CityCast desk.
Hijab is not an essential religious practice, the Karnataka High Court said on its verdict on hijab law. The court upheld the government's order and dismisses petitions challenging the ban on hijab in educational institutions.
People are saying now, and it's been said that it's not an essential thing. So, to understand if it is an essential thing or not, just like the other essential, important factors of Islam, reading the Quran and understanding it is an essential part again, I would say.
February 5th, the Karnataka government passed an order exercising its powers under Section 133, Clause 2 of the Karnataka Education Act, 1983. The three-judge bench, on their verdict today, states that the ban on hijab is not violating the fundamental rights, particularly freedom of religion.
If they wear hijab or whatever they can they do, it's their wish. But under school or college, they should not wear that under, because all are equal under the constitution. So if they need something to wear like hijab, means it's their wish to wear it on the road or streets, their wish. But they've comfortably, school and colleges are given some dresses to wear. If they wear on that means Hindu people also will say like we will wear another dresses on them.
Activists also termed the court's verdict unconstitutional.
We demand to uphold rights based on the Indian constitution. We will never accept this anti-constitutional regime is trying to implement their agenda and dehumanize the community, go to the upper court.
This is a story by Team CityCast. School dropouts have no access to vaccinations. Our reporter Prantika Ghosh tells us the vaccination status of these children.
BBMP has identified 4,41,000 beneficiaries in different schools of Bangalore to be vaccinated. But the 1 lakh school dropouts who left school during the pandemic are missing from this data.
Up to January, madam. Even our episode that told, even Jan comes that told. So we should concentrate on the school dropout children. I think we are taking very seriously, madam. Because we asked the headmasters and the school teachers to give the exact dropout children list. 5,165 has been vaccinated. School children.
Vaccination camps happening in schools are only designated to school-going children. The teachers and principal have no idea about vaccination for school dropouts.
स्कूल के बच्चों के लिए
जो बच्चे स्कूल नहीं जा रहे, what about them?
मुझे नहीं पता, हमारे स्कूल के सभी बच्चों को वैक्सीनेशन दिए हैं.
The NGOs are working to identify these children from different slums and construction sites. They are going home to vaccinate children who are not going school because of monetary distress.
PSC said was, once they complete the schools, then they will get back to us about the children out of school. That's what they promised. But then later we found the government doesn't have the stocks to deliver the vaccination in the schools. It's vaccinating children who are out of school remains still an issue. What all the NGOs are doing, they started claiming it. Something we should limit the vaccination thing only to the children going to school. It has to be extended to all children.
No significant step have been taken by the government to identify these school dropout children. However, the government is planning to start door-to-door vaccination for children below 18 years. I'm Prantika Ghosh reporting for CityCast, Bangalore. Students in DRDO-run schools are uncertain about the future of their school as government stops its funding. Our reporter Arsha Agarwal tells us more about this change.
Students of Defence Research and Development Organisation affiliated schools in Bangalore are uncertain and worried about their future prospects after the government has stopped funding the school. One such school is Kendra Vidyalaya DRDO with nearly 2,000 students who say that the issue might affect them financially and academically.
From first standard to ninth standard we are studying here only. After that class, if I'll be so scared because the syllabus will be changed. Then I can't recollect it and I can't write in the exam. So I'm scared if I fail. What will be my future?
Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan Regional Office Bangalore says nothing is decided yet. Principal of the school, however, says it is not a major problem.
There won't be a problem because it is not a private organization. Here it is not an issue because funding, if it is stopped by DRDO, it is a KV, which is also a government organization involved. So somehow it will be manageable.
The circular sent by government to the school asks it to join other Kendra Vidyalayas or private institutions. Experts, however, say that the whole issue might prove to be a hindrance in students' education.
It was against right to education. No one can take your right of education, and state is responsible for education. I think that they can revise it if it's not taken a lot. So they should revise it. If they'll give it to the private institution, then the fee will be the issue, especially during pandemic. The economic situation, I do believe, is not so good.
Students are also informed that the school might increase the fee in order to avoid the closure which was previously thought of. This is Arshia Agarwal reporting for CityCast.
RTI reply shows that less than half of those who got selected for the National Overseas Scholarship Scheme in the last 5 years actually received its benefits. Our reporter Shubham Chauhan tells us more.
An RTI reply shows only 240 out of 500 students selected for the National Overseas Scholarship Scheme actually benefited from it between 2016 and 2021. Students complain that they have lost out on opportunities due to several glitches.
I have been applied since 2019. It's saying that your document is not found, okay? Maybe I haven't, forgot to apply something. 2021, I applied in the March, fulfilling all the document criteria. I got the result. I found it on the rejection list. They stated is your master marks is not having 60%. Real fact, I have secured 68%.
Official data shows more than 5 lakh Indian students go abroad to study every year. The NOS aims to send only 100 students from marginalized communities for the same. The limit was raised to 125 this year. However, in the final stage of the 3-step selection process, there is a difference of 52 students on an average who are selected for the scholarship and those who actually go abroad. Experts attribute this to bureaucratic delays in the process, which hampers the students' education.
There's red tapeism and delay at every stage, from when the application is processed and from the time it is approved and the money is actually released. And these bureaucratic delays obviously impact the academic calendar that the student has to comply with.
The Union government in February barred students who are applying for the scheme from pursuing subjects related to Indian history and culture abroad. The government says the move is to promote the study of these subjects in India itself. Activists suggest a change in the mindset of bureaucrats to make the scheme more effective.
Sensitized officers should be recruited there. Those who know the reality, many students, they only receive insult, some sort of an arrogance from these officers. When they go to Delhi for office, especially Brahmanical bureaucratic mindset needs to be sensitized. Okay.
With the 31st March deadline nearing to apply for the scheme, students complain that these changes were announced last moment, derailing their future plans. This is Shubham Chauhan reporting for CityCast.
With the process of construction of Mekedatu Dam on the go, tribals of Kanakpura areas are worried about losing their land as they wait for the proposal of Mekedatu to be approved. Our reporter Ahana Prakash, more on that.
Tribal right activists say building the dam at Mekedatu will have adverse social and economic impact on tribals who depend on forest and river for their livelihood.
ಇವ್ರ ಮನೆಗಳಿದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಜಮೀನು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಇವರು ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಬುಡಕಟ್ಟು ಜನಾಂಗ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಿಗೋ ನೀರು ಕೊಡೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಬುಡಕಟ್ಟು ಜನಾಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಅನಾನುಕೂಲಗಳಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಈಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಕ್ಕಲೆಬ್ಬಿಸೋದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇವರು ಪಾರಂಪರಿಕ ಸಂಪ್ರದಾಯಗಳಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ನಾಶ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅದರಿಂದ. ಕ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅವರು ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕಾಡಿನ ಕಿರು ಉತ್ಪನ್ನಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಕಿರು ಉತ್ಪನ್ನಗಳನ್ನ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಮಿನರಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ, ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ minerals.
It is expected that Mekedatu Dam will submerge more than 5,000 hectares of forest land and 5 villages surrounding it. These villages are a home to many tribal communities like Iruluga. Experts say there are alternative ways to get Bangalore the water it needs.
Don't treat it, cannot treat it, recycle it. Cities are important. City underground water you have drawn and they were not recharging. Asphalted the entire surface. Catchment areas and the lakes in Bangalore is dying. Like such so many things.
The BJP has announced rupees 1000 crores for the project in the recent budget. It aims to provide 400 megawatts of hydroelectricity and solve Bangaluru's water crisis. This is Anna Prakash reporting for CityCast.
We'll now take a short break. On the other side, we'll tell you the problem faced by the silk weavers.
Karnataka is the biggest exporter of silk in India. However, its silk handloom weavers are in danger of losing their means of income. Our reporter Subhashri talks to the weavers.
Khaja Mia works in a silk handloom weaving factory for more than 30 years. It takes him 5 to 6 days to weave a sari. He gets 500 rupees for his labor. But now the factory is under a loss. Most of the weavers are leaving.
ओनर को भी घाटी में चल रहा है. एक साड़ी दे डाले तो 500 रुपये लॉस है. रेशम का रेट ऐसा रहे तो साड़ी कहाँ से बनाते हैं.
Earlier, the factory got its silk cocoons from nearby villages. But now, the constant rain affected local production, hence the weavers have to buy imported silk cocoons that is 3 times higher than the older prices. As the selling price increases, hand-woven fabrics worth 3 lakhs is piled up in their storeroom. The Central Silk Board says Indian silk fabric export is lowest in 6 years. The economic recession in the silk fabric importing countries is causing the problem.
Indian silk, which is around 5,600 to 5,800. So the manufacturer not able to sell it. Definitely take care in maybe another 5 years. Maybe the silk samagra too.
Even though export agrees to the Silk Samagra scheme, they think that 5 years is a tardy target.
The government can definitely assure a minimum price to the silk producers, but that has to be done immediately. Export duty can also be reduced to promote the exports.
Handloom weavers are worried about their livelihood. Expert believes that a temporary subsidy will help them to sustain this crisis. This is Subhashri reporting for CityCast Bangalore.
Graduates applying to jobs are more likely to get them here than any other city. Our reporter Rishabh Rai tells us more.
A recent report by Team Lease EdTech says recruiters in Bengaluru have the highest intent of hiring freshers after their employment took a hit of close to 50% in the pandemic.
If you see 80-90% of the companies are mostly IT companies or software companies or something related to it. But in other cities you see it is a bit diversified, right? In Mumbai you will find other companies like finance companies, media companies, thousands of other companies. So it is a bit diversified.
The only companies which faced a relatively reduced impact of the pandemic are the IT companies. They require lesser physical manual labor or employees. Mumbai ranked second with 29%.
After pandemic, the more and more opportunities have opened up for freshers, maintaining whatever protocols is required. So opportunities are getting open up.
As soon as the pandemic ended, most of the freshers from an engineering or software related background got hired, whereas cities like Mumbai failed to offer them jobs as they have a diversified pool of industries.
In cities like Bangalore, where many IT companies have their base, the company saw quite some growth in hiring activity, indicating a uniform revival of the jobs in the sector. Work from home and remote working pattern played a key role in helping the sector revive.
Prospects for freshers seem positive in Bengaluru, especially with the people having backgrounds of web development, database administrator and digital marketing. This is Rishabh Rai reporting for CityCast.
We will soon be back after a short break with a story on how a couple of Indian brands are making metaverse more accessible to all.
Welcome back. Several Indian startups are exploring the world of metaverse by making it accessible to all. Our reporter Shiparna Roy tells us about online wedding and buying virtual lands.
From movie trailer launches, gaming spaces to weddings, several Indian brands are exploring the world of metaverse. It is estimated to provide $8 trillion opportunity where Indian startups plan to make metaverse accessible to all.
It is the cheapest within the world, within India. And first sort of a market in India. World's only metaverse essentially is a mobile first metaverse. Most can come in and sort of basically enjoy that experience.
ITC Limited, Matrimony.com, Coca-Cola were sponsors of India's first wedding in the metaverse in February earlier this year. Currently, there are only 10 to 15 metaverses in India.
With Metaverse, basically, we are taking it 10 notches higher. So with Metaverse, I'm putting the virtual presence of both the persons together and now shop together, party together, study. That is sort of the feel, basically, which essentially is
According to research by Bloomberg, the metaverse will become a nearly $800 billion market opportunity by 2024. There are many Indian companies who have also started dealing with cryptocurrency and blockchain. As the hype builds around metaverse, advertisers and their agencies are racing to benefit from it through people exploring virtual worlds, engaging in gaming, or buying NFTs using cryptocurrency. However, it comes with its limitations.
A lot of metaverses want to use the power of AR and VR. One limitation would be to get the hardware into the masses and also make the hardware cheaper and more practical to use.
India moves to become a 900 million user base by 2025. There's a large scope for Indian brands to expand their market and develop their global appeal through metaverse. This is Shripurna Roy reporting for CityCast. Nimhan study shows two-wheeler drivers who wear substandard helmets are prone to fatal accidents. Our reporter Saili Patil brings us more on the issue.
The study by National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences showed that 22% of the deaths in road accidents happen because two-wheeler riders are not wearing proper helmets. People do not wear standard helmets because they do not find those helmets comfortable.
I think I can agree, but due to this mask and the entire mask, I cannot breathe basically. So I'm not able to breathe and that is not there. So I'm just wearing it because the police does not catch basically, that's it.
People prefer wearing broken helmets but refuse to buy proper helmets due to its higher prices.
890 से स्टार्टिंग होता है, बहुत सस्ता था इसलिए बिक्री होता था ज़्यादा, मैक्सिमम वही खरीदते थे. ज़्यादातर ये क्या है, पिलन राइडर होता है ना, उसके लिए प्रेफर करते हैं, डिक्की में उनके आराम से बैठ जाता है इसलिए. अभी जब से कंपलसरी हो गया है ISA पहनना, तब से यही पहन रहे हैं.
Bangalore Traffic Police had conducted an awareness drive against the use of half helmets in the month of January. Traffic Police says that they have been asked just to educate those people wearing substandard helmets and not to fine them.
That imposed means, so this transport department, so we are seeking a notification from transport department. So once if they release notification, so we will impose, madam.
Experts say that the campaigns are of no use and the police should immediately ban half helmets.
Why the police require once again the coaching, teaching, and also let them start fining. Driver should wear the helmet, not only the driver, the pedient rider also. Otherwise, they can seize the vehicle. They don't have money.
Experts warn the riders to wear proper helmets for the sake of their safety and to avoid major accidents. This is Saili Patil reporting for CityCast.
That is all for today. Thank you for watching.
For more stories, log on to our website citycast.in.